on there. Ladies, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having us.
Oh, I'm excited for you guys to be here.
Well, thank you. We're excited to be here as well.
I know. I'm already drinking my calamansi and my Papa J's. I am ready to go.
Well, you guys didn't know that part of the appearance today is also for you guys to get to try all these different amazing products.
I know.
I'm way too excited about that. I'm a big foodie. And even more a Filipino foodie. So this is going to be great.
Well, you know what? Before we get into all of the questions that I even wrote it down to make sure I don't forget anything. But what I wanted to do so that we can we can get an idea of what we're going to talk about today for the audience is more like I want you to guys talk about the company, talk about what you're trying to do. But I'll have all these questions. But in the end, I want to tell the audience why exactly I invited you guys to the EmPHorium and what is the tie-in between what EmPHorium is trying to do as well as Kwento Comics. Fair?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. Very
We're
cool.
ready to go.
Okay, so I will let you go and tell us about Kwento Comics and its purpose.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Please.
So my mom and I had this crazy idea in about 2018 when we came out to LA and realized that there weren't a lot of roles for Filipino Americans. I was going out on auditions and I was just like, my mom would ask me, she would come out and be like, how was the audition? I was like, it was good, but no one in the room really looked like me. And we realized that that's because these roles really start with representation off the page and off the screen, with people who look like us, who can authentically tell our stories. And so we realized that, you know, if we're not seeing the stories out there that that we want to see, that showcases us and our heritage and our culture, then we have to go out and make it. And so that's what we did. And we decided that comic books were so universal, and everyone can, you know, loves a good story and loves beautiful artwork. And when we were reading about Philippine mythology, we were just like, this is just so vibrant and spectacular. The worlds that we were reading about were incredible, and the creatures. So we were like, this needs to be put into an artistic form. This is just way too like beautiful.
Yeah,
to,
you don't
to
want
not.
to keep it to yourself. I mean,
Yeah,
like you said, it needs to be
exactly.
spread out.
Everybody's heard of Zeus and Apollo, Robin Hood, Thor, all the classic stories and mythology, but no one's heard of the Filipino mythology.
No one's heard of the Bicolano moon goddess Halia, which is what the Mask of Halia is based off
There you go.
of.
I knew. I said we got to show them the comic book right away.
I know. I'm just gonna whip it out for everyone.
Yeah, go ahead and show them.
Absolutely.
And Bakunawa, the Diwata of the sea that was turned into a giant sea serpent after he ate 6 of the 7 moons. Did you know there was 7 moons in the sky?
That's some hungry, creature.
It was,
I know.
very hungry Bakunawa.
Let me pull up. This is literally one of my favorite pages in issue 1.
Mhm.
There's Bakunawa. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Well, see, just on that, let me just interrupt you. When the first time I saw the comic book, I was impressed by the graphics. I love the story, easy to read, right? And to me, that's what I've always liked about comics when I was growing up. But obviously now you're more interested, in tune with it because it's your culture.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So anybody who loves comic books, period, or a good story should enjoy that.
Well, thank you. That compliment is really just a testament to our incredible artists, all in the Philippines, by the way. We thought that was really important when we were creating Kwento Comics to have a global team, right? Have Filipina American writers and Filipina artists, so that we could, bridge the gap between, having Filipinos understand our experience as Filipino Americans, and then vice versa, having more Filipino Americans understand, what life is like in the Philippines.
Absolutely. And of course, for the non-Filipinos, Kwento actually means story.
Yes, I was
It's
going to ask you about
Tagalog.
that. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we wanted to showcase our fabulous writers and the stories, our rich stories of Filipino culture, but the artwork. So every cover that we have is going to showcase a different Filipina or Asian American artist. So we're supporting our artist community, our writing community, and along the way, Kwento as a company, we are partnering and collaborating with several of the Filipino-owned businesses across the globe, in the Philippines and in the U.S. And in fact, for issue 2, for those of you who pick up issue 2, which you can get on our website.
The theme of our back cover is community. And that is where EmPHorium ties in. Beautifully.
I want to save that for later. I want to talk about that. Okay. So let me get back to the actual, everything about your journey so far with Kwento Comics. Okay. So my first question is that, what are some of the obstacles that you've overcome as an independent publisher? Because I can only imagine starting up a business. I can imagine that has a lot of challenges. But also in this, in this type of industry, type of business, I'm sure you have your own unique challenges in that also.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The comic book industry is primarily very male-centric. And that was our first obstacle, is when we put together our stories about female Filipinas, we have female writers and artists. The first obstacle was, what should our comic book look like? And we decided, you know what? We are going to make our comic book that is not like any other.
That's signature to us and our
signature to us. And we love the fact that we don't look like anything else. Our artwork and our storylines are very different. We're not DC and we're not Marvel. And a lot of people, I think, I'm just pulling out random pages. A lot of people are thinking, it's very, very difficult if you're not a DC or Marvel. We know that. Just
that actually gives us more motivation.
It does give us more motivation. But the thing is that I think people are actually yearning and looking for different stories, different art styles. They don't necessarily want DC or Marvel anymore because
I agree.
So,
well, just in general, I was talking to David from Papa J's, and he was telling me how he loves Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings, and we love like so many other cultures, fantasies and mythos, and I mean, I grew up loving like Greek mythology and Roman mythology because my mom and my brother were so into it. But and Filipinos, I think we all are a bit nerdy inside because we love all of that stuff. But we don't have our own stories that we get to indulge in and Philippine mythology. I didn't really grow up with learning much about that until I started the comic book.
And so that's one of the obstacles we actually had, is we actually had to do a lot of
research and education ourselves
on Philippine mythology. Yeah. The thing is Philippine mythology is very oral. A lot of the written mythology was from Spanish missionaries who actually wrote them down. So we had to do that, and then every area of the Philippines kind of has a different twist to the same myths.
Or different names.
So in Tagalog, the creator god is Bathala, but in Visayas it's Kaptan. So very different, and so we've been trying to meld our own, stories and mythos together.
I think I just want to make a quick comment about that, because when I was a kid, when I used to read comic books, it was more like empowerment and fascination with superpowers and all of that, right? But I think now a lot more people are in tune with their own personal origin. The differentiation of the uniqueness of each culture. And I think that's what I'm excited for the comic book because of that. Well, it looks like somebody's here, but we don't know who it is. So
let's see who our visitor is. Who's our guest?
Guess what? See, that's why I love today, because we don't know who's going to walk through that door.
It makes it even more fun. I love it.
Anyway. So with that being said, that's what I like about what you're doing with Philippine history or mythology. Because of that, a lot more people can easily access it now. They can research it now, and then more of the culture is exposed.
And we love that. We love explaining to other people about our fairies, our duende, our creatures of the night. There's so much to explore.
Well, no, I will get back to you on that one, because definitely there's a lot on that one. I even took you the story of a duende.
There's a new monster that I even found. I'll have to tell you about. I don't know. I guess it's a gender neutral monster, if you will, but it's one that lives in the forest. And in order to escape this monster, to let you out of the forest, if you're ever lost, you have to turn your clothing inside out, so that their big mouths they laugh so much that it covers their eyes, and you can escape them.
There's a lot of dudes that are like that. They just want to turn their clothes inside. A lot of people can relate to that. I like that. Okay.
Well, my mom actually just has a personal story recently. I don't know if you want to share it online.
tell the story, Cecilia,
I mean, this
please.
literally just happened this weekend. I think you need to tell our
All right,
audience
so
what happened.
oh my gosh, so okay, I'm gonna tell this.
And I'll drink my Papa
So,
John's.
yeah,
while
there
you're
you
telling
go.
it.
So this ring, so this is my wedding ring. I'm actually taking it off. See this wedding ring was lost a few months ago, and I finally found it in my house in Florida. And I'm here visiting my aunt in Palos Verdes. And the first night, I take it off to do some dishes, and it disappears. I know I put it in my pocket. I zipped it up, and the next morning I went to go to my pocket. It's gone. Now
Interesting.
we looked everywhere in the house, all the bedrooms, all the living
We prayed to
rooms.
St. Anthony.
We prayed to St. Anthony.
Very Catholic.
Pull out the big guns there. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So so being very Catholic, we prayed to St. Anthony. Nothing. So we were there for what, 3 days?
3 days, yeah.
So we are
Packing up, getting ready to leave.
getting ready to leave, and I see at the corner of my aunt's house is a big lemon tree. So I say to myself, you know what? I'm going to take this lemon, and I'm not going to give it back until the house gives me back my ring. So I took the lemon and I threw it in the back.
Meanwhile, I was like, why is there this huge lemon in our trunk? She didn't tell me anything.
Yeah. So, and this is going through my head, and I said, house, give me back my ring, and I'll give you back your lemon. The next day, my uncle calls up and says, we found the ring.
He goes, I literally stepped on it
He
in the guest
literally
bedroom.
stepped on it in the guest bedroom. Now, keep in mind, we searched high and low for 3 days and 3 nights.
Mm-hmm.
No ring whatsoever, with flashlights, walking, shuffling through the shag carpeting, nothing.
So the only explanation, the reasonable explanation, is that it was the duende.
The duende that lives in the lemon tree.
Those mischievous
The
duendes.
mischievous
Yes.
little lemon.
So what happened is we went back to Palos Verdes. I gave the duende back the lemon, and I got my ring.
I gotta try that with my keys, Cecilia, because I keep freaking losing my keys. God, I'd love that. You know, if
I think you have a duende. And you have a fruit tree in your backyard?
Yeah.
See?
No, I got a lemon tree, orange. No, seriously, that could be it. Only because my wife and I would be okay. Take into account, maybe we're getting older, we're forgetting stuff. I go, I was just holding that doggone thing. Where is it? You know, and then
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
They're very mischievous.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. And I'm gonna get back that again. I'm gonna try that when I get home. All right. So my next question that I wanted to ask you guys is that, is there something that really sort of surprised you, in this process that you're doing with, that you never knew before, about doing what you're doing?
Oh my gosh, so much for me. I am so new even to the comic book industry. My mom grew up reading them, but unlike her, I didn't necessarily grow up reading comic books, but I had such a appreciation for the superhero and fantasy genre because my brother and my mom would take me to see Harry Potter opening weekend, every Marvel movie that came out. So I love the genre in and of itself, but publishing, I had no idea about. I didn't know about the steps of artwork. I didn't know how long it would take to just conceptualize a character or a monster. Then you have storyboarding, which is kind of similar. I went to theater and film school, so in a way, storyboarding for the artist, in my head, is oh, that's what a director does prior to shooting their movie. And so I was taking the things that I had learned in school and applying them to this other art form that I had never, really dabbled in before. And so that was exciting for me to have her around because I think we are a great duo where we really pick up each other's
Mother-daughter duo.
Yeah, we're mother-daughter duo. We pick up on each other's strengths or where we're lacking. She teaches me just a lot about business and finance and contracts and all of that stuff. And I get to help aid her in, exploring her creative juices.
Yeah, the first thing I did before we even started is we trademarked the logo.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, there's trademarks. Oh, there's
Yes.
TIN numbers. There's tax ID numbers. I was like, what is all this stuff that I'm now having to learn about?
That in itself is a great story to do a segment on, the mother and daughter thing. Because
you should hear the banter that goes back and forth between
because
us.
That is probably one of the things that you go, wow, having to have a business with my daughter. I mean, a lot of kids don't want to have nothing to do with their parents to a certain degree, right?
No, this is my best friend though. So we talk every day anyways. So we might as well be talking about Kwento.
No, then that's already a blessing already together because you guys get to be together because my wife, we have 2 kids. They just want to go away and do their thing, right? But now you guys got a project. I think that's great.
The journey has been.
High five.
No,
Yeah.
sorry. I was just gonna say the journey has been so much better because I get to share it with my daughter. The fact that we're doing this together, she's learning about things, I'm learning about things. We're exploring, the Filipino culture and mythology together.
We're both
So-
Filipino Americans, so
Yeah,
to be able to do this, it's very similar to Mari's journey, where she's discovering her own cultural heritage for the first time. I'm having, in a lot of ways, the exact same experience.
Yeah.
And so, in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm mirroring almost the main character and what she's going through.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
I'm old. I was born in 1965, and I
God,
grew
you're
up
old
in.
too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
me
old.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand.
Very old. So I grew up in central Illinois, and in the 60s, there were 5 Filipino families in a city of about 100,000. They didn't even know what I was. They were like,
You had a
Filipino.
perm.
I had a perm. They thought I was Jewish.
Gee, I wish I had a picture like that. Show right now.
You have to show Fernanda photos
Yeah,
of your college
I
later.
will.
Your college photos are so 80s. It's crazy.
The big
No,
hair.
it's okay.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you have to have big hair from the 80s.
No, but when it comes to that, like the one thing that I like so far with what you guys are talking about, see, this is something you didn't know, how you guys can work together. That's a plus.
Yeah.
That's a plus to me. The fact that you probably what's it gonna be like working with my mom? Like, wow, what the heck, But you guys are learning from each other, strengths and weaknesses, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of learning, and I want to go back to the character really quick because I don't think we covered it. But what is it about the character, the main character, that you want the audience, that's all the ladies, the young women? What do you want that? What do you want that? What do you want that
This
person to
was
say?
I love that
This
question.
is a great
Thank you for
question.
asking that. I think it's really important. I mean, Marisol comes into the Philippines and she just thinks she's this ordinary girl.
Yes.
And
yes.
it's because of her becoming in tune with her own cultural heritage that gives her the strength and power. Her learning about her ancestral past gives her the power to do extraordinary things. And I think that's something that no matter how ordinary or simple life may feel, you can do extraordinary things with the environment and the circumstances that you're given. And I think it's just so important to show a young female heroine that does that and that is taking that difficult journey. She does go through she's gonna go through lots of different adventure and turmoil and family drama.
Family drama.
But
There is a bit of family.
Gee, family drama in the Philippines.
In the Filipino
Really?
family.
There's always family drama. So that's the fun part about the storyline is it delves into a little bit of family drama. It delves into her learning about her family
And just a young girl.
An appreciation of the history and
Yeah.
ancestry.
Yeah, and just to even regardless, whatever race or culture or heritage that is on that cover, just to be a young girl and to see yourself on a cover like that's so
Yes.
empowering in and of itself. Because another thing that we wanted to kind of combat with doing Kwento Comics and being an all Asian, all female team is that when you go to these Comic Cons a lot, you'll see lots of covers of girls, but they don't necessarily look like a real a teenage girl. They are the curvy hourglass, big hair, big behind, big everything, and it's
What?
that's something that's not necessarily relatable, and we don't want to send that message that is something. This is done with a female perspective, made by women for women, not done through a male gaze, and that was very important for us as well.
Absolutely.
I think overall, I'm in your neighborhood, by the way, in terms of age, Cecilia.
Oh.
So I can tell you like this. To me, that's always been a big deal for me growing up, right? So, the image of a Filipino guy, Asian guy, right? So to me, it's truly, truly evolved. It's progressed in so many ways. I mean, like I said, stories being told, now there's more background. That's why I love what you're doing. I mean, guys in general already has an issue, and then now you're bringing empowerment to young ladies of today. I mean, I'm all for that. As my wife will tell you. As far as that.
We absolutely want to have the content. We want to have the stories out there. We want to have eventually the film or animated series reflect these stories that we hope are authentic.
Don't get us wrong. Just because we're an all-female team and it's pretty and it's beautiful, incredible artwork, you open up those pages, there's some crazy stuff that is happening in here. There are creatures and cult members. This story is action-packed. I say it is it is made by women for women, but I think it's something that man, woman, like comic book lovers, like you will love, and I hope everyone will appreciate the amazing work that our writers have done, just trying to embed all these different subplots and characters. I mean, we talked about it when we were first developing that. Like we had just come off the Game of Thrones train, we were like obsessed. I love
Oh, you bought House of Dragons then?
Yeah, there you go. No, we were not copying. But I will say that there is such a whole. I just encourage people to stick with the story because there are so many more characters and stories that are going to be happening in this series alone that I just want people to stick with.
We're actually braiding several storylines together and different points of view. So as you go through the journey,
It's a multi-POV story.
Yes, and we've got about 15 issues scheduled. The third issue should be coming out by the end of the year.
Perfect for Christmas gift.
Perfect for Christmas gifts.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
But yes, please come along on the journey with us because Mari's journey is your journey, and I think people will fall in love with this, the storyline.
No, I think so too. Like I said, it's an uplifting and very empowering publication. I mean, the story is amazing. The one that I've obviously read the first one. I can't wait to read the second one. But what I'm just saying is that that's to me that's a sign of progression in our society. That there's a lot more empowerment of young women, especially in this. Well, there was something I wanted to really discuss. To me, the monsters and all the mythology, right, the folklore. To me, that just represents life. To me, all the little challenges. I mean, okay, yes, I'm being overly dramatic and but yes, we all deal with a lot of issues and problems, right? So when you're dealing with a monster, to me, that's I don't know, maybe family or a spouse or any sort of problems at work or whatever, and you take it on. So that's why it's to me it's relevant in what you're trying to do there. Okay. So all right, my next question is how this is to me this is a pretty good question. I want to see if I can ask this question. How does Kwento Comics push for more representation in comic books?
Well, I think we've actually touched upon that a few times here, but we're not only are they female characters, the characters are Asian, predominantly Filipina, and the first of our series, Mask of Haliyya. Now, keep in mind, Kwento Comics is going to be doing multiple series of comic books, and some will be other Asian mythology. So we're bringing in not just Filipino, but other Asian mythologies in our other series.
Yeah.
Now, going back into that process again, I want to go back to the point about you. That's interesting about the artist. How did you put together that team? What was your process? And it just happens to be all female. I mean, obviously in all facets. So expand a little bit on that one.
Well, we first found the writers.
Yeah.
We spent a good amount of time finding the writers, getting the right storyline, and with the writers' help.
Caitlin Fahilin was our writer who we found here in LA. I'd worked on a short film with her, and she was just so talented, a multifaceted, creative, talented artist, and we're like, she could get the job done on this one. She could take our concept and seedling out of an idea and really just make it something fantastic. And she had been working solo, and she had been trying to figure out different ways to incorporate the mythos and the story, and she was bouncing ideas off of her best friend, Jennifer Zhang. And she was like, "Hey, do you want to just hop on the project?" And they were like, "Oh," she was like, "Yeah, absolutely."
So after we got Caitlin and Jen together, then we went out and we started looking for artists.
Yeah. So we started with the mother-daughter team,
Right.
transitioned to a best friend writing team,
Right.
and now we're on the hunt for artists.
And now we're on the hunt for artists. So once we found our first artist, which was Catherine Leno, she is the
She's located in the Philippines in Insane Town.
Town.
She's worked on like Batman, Castlevania, crazy titles.
She did the cover, and she initially started with us doing some of the inside artwork. But then we found through Kat, we actually found Renavia, and Renoida introduced us to Charlene Dewey, who was our colorist.
Yeah. Who they also lived together, so they were also a best friend artist team. So we had mom-daughter duo, best friend writing team, best friend art team. We come in pairs.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, to me, that itself is obviously big journey, and that's the reason why we all connected, because I was fascinated by that. And on top of that, the fact that they're all in the Philippines and you guys are US based, we can touch on that a little bit later, because I wanted to ask
That's
you
one
about
of the
that.
biggest challenges
Yeah,
is the time zone.
Yeah.
The time zones are an actual challenge, but we've, with the technology, with Zoom, and the fact that Waverly and I, neither of us sleep at night anyway, so we're able to hop on calls at all hours of the
Yeah,
of the
we're
day and
having
night.
storyboarding calls and concept art calls at 2:00 in the morning, or it's 2:00 their time, and we all make it work. And I think that's something that I'm very grateful of our team, is that we all just continue to grind and hustle, no matter like what time we're going to make it work. And
What's nice about our team is that everybody's on the same page. Everybody has the same passion.
Yeah.
And we all have the same vision to.
And I think
tell
we're
these
also
stories.
confident. We're confident, and I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. I think we're
Yeah.
confident in the story and how incredible the world that Caitlin and Jen have built.
And what we wanted to do is, when we finally got our writers, we wanted to make sure that we had the quality of the artists
Yeah, to match the story.
to match the story. And from the artwork, then we wanted to make sure that we had the quality of the printing.
That's
And,
another thing that I learned. Printing. She was editor of her high school newspaper. Had no idea about paper
You didn't
reads,
think it would come back to you, did you?
It did come back, yes.
trim lines, bleed lines. I had no idea about any of that.
Paperweight.
Paperweight. Yes.
When I'm not gonna say if this goes big, when this goes big, you're gonna go back and go, damn it, there's a reason why I took that printing class back in high school.
She was such a boss. She had her own office in high school.
Perfect. At the end of the day, what I'm getting here is like, Kwento Comics is in for a journey, but I think everything that you're going to be passing through or by, it's going to be a learning experience, but you're also going to make a difference in a lot of people. Not only your message is about young women empowerment, but also family, running a business. You have so many messages, I think.
We have a lot of messages.
I think the company, in a way, kind of mirrors like what's happening as well. The
Yeah.
themes that are prevalent in
in
the comic
today's
book.
society.
Here's the thing: we invited some people to just watch us do this interview, right? So I want to give them credit. There's some people here that are supporting. So hopefully, I'm gonna go ahead and bring up. Hey Dave, can you just walk around and maybe
Dave,
introduce
Dave!
yourself? No, he's gonna have his own camera. I'm gonna bring his own. He's gonna have his own camera. I'm gonna put you on now, okay, Dave? And then I want him to also talk to Jesus at Teofilo Coffee. So go ahead and walk around EmPHorium so you know exactly what we're talking about. I mean, you got to show yourself though. So obviously you guys already have people that are supporting you, and Dave from Papo J's.
Yes,
as well
one of our
as-
very first supporters.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so that's everybody who's watching this right now. That is Dave Osmeña of Papo J's, and right next to him is a representative of Teofilo Coffee, has Jesus. So if you guys want to let them check out EmPHorium while you guys are looking around. If you want to say something about Kwento Comics, whether you know something about it or not, just go ahead and make a comment. I know you have been associated with Kwento Comics for a while.
Yeah, well, we love Kwento Comics. I mean, they have the same philosophies as Papa J's. Sort of bringing an industry to the Philippines, supporting the women-owned businesses down there, and creating an industry. I mean, that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Well, I want you to show
And
your.
I think we have I was born the same year.
Oh gosh.
We're all trying to
I think our experiences were the same growing up. A lot of people had representations of the type of spirits we were drinking. I was, when I was stealing liquor from my parents' liquor cabinets, it certainly wasn't Lambanog. And my friends, yeah, exactly.
I know.
Yeah.
I wish I was stealing Lebanon.
Yeah.
And my friends had stuff to share, and I really wanted something from our world because I knew it was always great.
Well,
and so that's why we're bringing.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
I want you to check out, show your product so they know that you're some liquor mogul or something.
We can talk about the coffee road.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that
Say
goes there
something,
with Papa J's,
Jesus. Yeah, go ahead. Say something, Jesus.
Coffee, Teofilo Coffee, just trying to bridge the gap between the Philippines and here in the States. I think there's the common, everybody knows about, like Ethiopian beans, Costa Rican beans, South American beans, which is always good, but I think it's time for the Philippines to kind of put their mark on the coffee business. There's varieties of coffee really in the Philippines, so it's just kind of putting the word out there that the Philippines has coffee, and it's interesting because for someone that didn't really drink black coffee like myself, it's cool to get the knowledge of what it is that Filipino coffee is, get the background of how it is grown and everything, and then just kind of look for those tiny little flavors, and then it makes you kind of appreciate black coffee. From what I heard, because I'm from a Mexican background, so in Mexico it's very common to have instant coffee as opposed to like fresh coffee beans. And from what I heard from the owner himself, saying that instant coffee is pretty predominantly popular in the Philippines. It's just kind of highlighting that there is a coffee culture in the Philippines, but we're trying to highlight that there is beans there, that there's something rich in the soil in the Philippines.
So you see, this is the reason why I wanted to. I mean, Dave, go ahead and show your product while I'm tell them a little bit more about what you guys.
Well, I want to say something real quick.
Go ahead.
Like, this is a great place to come.
Yeah.
Ferdinand did a great job with the shop.
Mhm.
I want to point out, like, this is a Papa J's area, but I found this little dispenser here. Ferdinand brought that in, so hopefully we'll be including that.
Oh, and show them a little bottle hanger from our launch party.
This is the Kwento. I don't know if you see that. Yes.
Our signature drink.
The
Bakunawa Breeze.
yes, exactly. The Bacanao Breeze with a calamansi juice, Papa J's.
There you go.
So at the end, what I wanted you guys to really do is really just show the support for Kwento Comics, and that's why you guys are here.
Well, thank you guys so much for being
Here's
here.
the thing, though, right? You could have done this virtually, but obviously it's great to just have a small get together like that. And that's what we're trying to do. So thank you guys. Okay. So after the show, we're gonna definitely have some more coffee, more food
Oh,
tasting.
yeah.
I can't
Definitely.
wait to try. She is the biggest coffee head.
I'm the biggest coffee fan, so.
And black, she likes black coffee,
Oh, yeah.
so
I
she's
tried it,
gonna
it's
love
good.
it.
I'm gonna go ahead and keep it live. Okay. So if anybody else wants to be on the camera, I'm gonna keep your camera on while we're still talking to the ladies. Okay, to make it more interesting, also. But ladies, before we go into the topic of the collaboration between EmPHorium and Kwento Comics, I want to ask these last two questions that I wrote down. Now, I think I asked you answered this already, but let me go and answer this type of this, in a different point of perspective. You could also include some. Let's see. How do you translate the visions of the writing team to the art team? Because one thing that the way comics book were written, obviously back in the day, when I was younger, whatever, it's different from what is the main difference between the way it's written then and now in terms of, I'm theorizing like attention span, people reading something and they don't want to spend a lot of time, but you have to tell the story through either just the words or you more focused on the graphics.
Yeah, so that's a great question.
Yeah.
Our writers are predominantly, they come from the film background. So we wanted something very cinematic. And if you open up our comic books, it looks like a movie.
Yes,
And
that's exactly what I was
it
It
trying
looks like an animated
It's-
series.
yes, if you can see the motion and you can see where the storyline's going in the artwork. So the writers who weren't familiar with the comic book wrote it as a screenplay
Originally, yeah.
originally.
there.
And then what we did is the artist took that and said, oh, okay, so this is what we want to show. And the writers actually said, big frame, small frame, shot from above, so
They
that
also-
the artists could see.
Yeah, I also am gonna say that they give. What's really cool is it's such a collaborative environment whenever we're in a meeting. The writers also give a lot. They have a vision for what it's gonna look like and where it's going, but they really give the artists a lot of liberty to have fun and be creative and to reimagine these monsters or these characters that they're creating. And so there is lots of dialogue that happens back and forth, especially during the storyboarding process, where Jennifer, who's our editor, she is kind of the liaison between the writing team, the producing team, and then the art team as well, and making sure that both the visions that are on the page are coming to life, and the way that the artists are, drawing them and doing the artwork.
So it's a very interesting process. Something that we've learned through issue 1 and issue 2. But after
We're still learning.
Yeah, we're still learning. After you write the storyline, then you go through storyboarding, as Waverly had mentioned, and then you go through what's called inking. So the storyboards are in pencils. Then you ink it, and then you do what's called flatting, which is like
That's
color by
another
numbers.
process that I didn't know about.
Yeah, we didn't know about this. So you lay down just
The initial
generic
colors.
colors. And then it goes to a colorist who puts in
The shadows.
the shadows and the lighting and the texture.
Mhm. Like this, you can see in both of these our artists did an incredible job. You can see the even the light reflection just bouncing
Yes.
off the hair.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
that's all just super intricate details that when to the naked eye you don't really think about.
Right. But that's the colorist. And then after that, you put in then we have a letterer.
And this is another thing that I didn't even realize makes such a big difference. I think it's in this. It's this one.
It's this
It
one.
is the screech that is just oh my gosh, Ren did a fantastic job. She makes the lettering almost as if it's in motion with the story.
Yes.
It's
Right.
incredible. You can kind of see it right there.
I
and
like the kaboom.
oh yeah, and it makes a huge. It really
It's
does.
great.
It changes the way that the audience, that a reader experiences it.
Yes. That's what I'm saying to you when I first read it and went through it. That's the feeling I was trying to figure. Like, why am I reacting to it this way?
Yeah, this
You know?
visceral way.
Yeah,
Almost.
like I don't understand it. I know it's got to be a certain style of the way you put it together. Just like a movie maker, like a director just has a vision of what it's supposed to look like, but there's certain things that he can't explain, or the style of the camera, like the angles and all that. I love different.
You want it to be
perspectives.
so good that it's almost unnoticeable to the audience
Yeah.
in a way. Yeah.
And I know that takes a lot of time.
So thank you for saying that.
Yeah, and that is the thing, is we wanted to make sure it was done well. And we were trying not to rush it, but we also still are cognizant that our fans want to see the next issue.
Mhm.
So
I will
that's
say we do leave on quite a bit of cliffhangers on these issues. So
Well, that's my segue. That's my segue to the thing that I wanted to bring out, right? Because obviously you chose to, you put your team together in the Philippines, right? So that's to say, there's a big assumption on my part, there's a lot of talented people in the Philippines.
Just tons of
immense amount
Yes.
of talent.
Yes,
Tons,
right?
yes.
So what I want to get out of this, maybe the next 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, is that I want to focus on that aspect of it. Like you chose the team, and then let's uplift the Philippines. Like let's give it more cred, in terms of not just products or whatever, but that in itself is the thing that could put people in the Philippines on the map. Not only the tech, not only the products, not only the tropical, not only the beaches, the hospitality, but also the creativity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So whatever you guys want to talk about that.
Yeah, the Filipino people, I mean, we're so creative, and not just artistic, but in song and dance, in art,
every art form.
In every art form, there is so much talent, and that is one thing that at Kwento Comics we really, really do want to uplift and showcase creativity in the writing, in the artwork. We're partnering with businesses in the Philippines now to print our comic books. We're actually hired a fulfillment center to
Thanks to Ferdinand.
Yeah, thanks to Ferdinand to help us get the comic books, throughout the Philippines. That's another obstacle we've had to, try to figure out.
Internationally. We didn't know what to expect when we printed the first issue.
Right.
We printed it. We were going to see where it goes, see where the market was. And just with the release of issue 2, I just think this week we've gotten inquiries from France, from Australia, from the UK, Canada, and it's really cool that people are finding us across the globe.
That's what's so
It
exciting.
blows my mind.
That's what's so exciting
Yeah.
because
Super exciting.
Filipinos are all over the place.
Yeah.
Whatever the reason is, business, marriage, job opportunities, right? They're all over the place. That's why if you look at the stats on OFWs, those are sometimes could be your potential salespeople, I guess, to introduce the comic book to that country.
Right.
And they have kids, obviously, and that's what's going to be amazing to me.
There are Filipinos all over the world.
Yeah.
And we hope that we will be able to, with help from all our collaborators and businesses that we're working with, to get this comic book, this series, to all those folks.
Because it's made for them too.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it is, and then you continue to really just stay with the message. Like I said, I think the more we talk, the more we're seeing a lot more messages on what Kwento Comics is about, right? But one last thing that I want to point out, we talked about the amazing talent in the Philippines. So now I invited both of you to be here because I really needed your help in many ways, and you've already done that, like in your comic book right there in the back.
Can you see that?
We're so grateful for that opportunity
I don't know
You know,
if
you
I-
have the logo of EmPHorium, everybody. They have the logo of
Yeah.
EmPHorium there. So I will do everything I can with the help of the DTI Center here to really promote Philippine products, period. But like I
That's why
said,
we love being here and
Yeah.
seeing what you're
I
doing.
know.
You are an inspiration as well because you're really just spearheading this for all of us here, and that's super important.
if I can just bring in my own style attention to that, not only because of amazing talent from the Philippines, but the products and all that, the more I'm going to go for it. I'm just going to go for it. Thank you guys for doing
Oh, no, I mean, growing up in central Illinois, my parents came from the Philippines. They came to the U.S. in the 50s, and they were always yearning for a taste of the Philippines. And it wasn't really readily available in central Illinois. We didn't have Filipino grocery stores. I don't know if we even have an Asian grocery store. I think we had to drive to Chicago or St. Louis in order to find, just the taste. And I love what you have here at the showroom. You've got Filipino products made in the Philippines using Filipino ingredients. It tastes different.
Yeah.
And I love that all this now is available to Filipinos here in the States to be able to taste a little bit of home.
No, and then the thing that I wanted to add on to that, and I want to maybe end with this or linger on this a little bit longer, is the word collaboration. Because just like in anything that we're both doing, we need everybody's help. That's why Dave's here. That's why Teofilo's
We all
here.
need each other.
Yeah.
We all make each other better and
Yeah.
stronger.
And that's the theme of the issue too, is community. It's so important. We can't do this on our own. The whole saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a whole big Filipino community to create a comic book company.
Yeah, I mean, and any undertaking, like I said, you guys being here, I'm always upfront with why everybody. I invite everybody because it's just straightforward. I mean, you never know when we're going to be able to help each other in terms of any, just like the simple thing of referring you guys to a logistics company that you needed somebody.
Which is a
trust.
game changer.
Well, it's
Game
yeah.
changer.
For us.
And the fact that they're primarily all Filipino women in
Yeah.
the company and
Yeah.
own business. I mean, that was
Right.
a plus. I got on the Zoom
I didn't
meeting and
even
I was like,
I didn't even realize that.
I was like,
Yes,
oh my
yes.
gosh, we're Filipino women. I'm like, I freaking love it.
I didn't even realize that until you guys brought up. Oh yeah, that's what I said. Like, oh yeah, really?
That was
Yeah.
just such like a big, another great surprise. I mean, even Papa J's and their distillery in the Philippines is all Filipino women. And I think that's what's
I didn't know
really,
that, Dave. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool. Now I always like to end with on a high note. I want you guys for before we go into the high note, tell us where we can get the comic books. Anybody
Oh,
watching?
yeah, this is
We forgot that
Waverly's-
part. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
So
Waverly's,
on the back of all of our issues,
website.
you will find our website, www.kwentocomics.com. We are at Kwento Comics on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. You can get our issues and YouTube. You can get our issues on our website if you're in US and Canada, or just email us at hello@kwentocomics.com, and we will make sure to do our very best to try to ship it to you internationally, wherever you may be. We are
And
also
globally,
globally
digitally.
and digitally. You can find us on Amazon Kindle or Global Comics, which is a brand new platform that we have just put ourselves on. They're really awesome because they have a feature where you can actually buy a PDF download of the comic book. So you can find us digitally anywhere in the Philippines or anywhere you may be globally,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
Global Comics.
Global Comics with the X.
X.
Yes. And then we're working very, very hard on getting our Philippine prints up and running as fast as we can so that we can get those physical copies to everyone in the Philippines as well. And we have a special variant cover for issue 1 just for our incredible fans in the Philippines.
No, we're about almost there in terms of our time up, but I want to go ahead and end it on a high note. So tell me, let's go ahead and leave with something that what's in store for the next 6 months for Kwento Comics. Or
Okay.
I think you guys are going to some an amazing show this weekend, right?
Yes, well, we just finished a Long Beach Comic Con. Let's see, last month we were in Chicago for the Chicago Comic Con, and before that we were in Miami. But we just finished Long Beach Comic Con. We are going to be in the Philippines at 2 Comic conventions
Nice.
in Manila.
One in October
October?
at the end of the month for it's their Halloween Comic-Con, and hopefully we'll have some fun stickers and everything for you as well.
And then in December for their Pasco Kit.
Yes.
And then here in the States, issue 3 should be available before the end of the year. So please stay tuned.
Yes.
Catch us on all our social media because we'll be announcing issue 3 when it comes out.
Yeah, and also this Friday we are attending Comic Head's Pico event, their online Comic-Con, their international Comic-Con online event.
Yep.
We will be doing a seminar, and it's going to include both my mom and I. It's going to include our writers, our artists, my social media manager that's in the Philippines. And it's going to be moderated by our head of marketing, Meredith Angeles, who's also in the house here.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's going to be a fun-filled event. It's going to have a lot of members from our team. So if you're in the Philippines or you have family or friends that are in the Philippines that want to attend the event, yeah, check
Check
it out.
out. We'll be on Kumu.
Yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, we'll be
Yeah.
on Kumu. But last but not least, 2 more things. San Francisco in October will be at the Philippine International Book Festival.
The main branch of the
San
San Francisco Public Library.
And at New York Comic Con, you can find Mask of Haliyah with our collaborating partner, EmPHorium.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
See, that, to me, it's just a matter of everything is about matter of time. I think a lot of things are coming your way. You just have to be consistent. I mean, like I said, the message is compelling.
Oh, well,
The
thank
message
you.
is
Thank
compelling,
you.
and that's the reason why I continue to say all that stuff, and then even get to the point where inviting and hopefully get you on, interview with you really quick, and because it's so sort of inspirational in many ways. Because at the end, not only inspiring the young women, but just being able to you guys go global and inspire, and get Philippine talent to be a part of your venture.
I hope we are a message to every creative out there, anyone out there who wants to start a project, to just, if you are passionate enough about it and the story, just go for it. Because we kind of had to kick each other in the butt and be like, we have to do it. The story and the message is too powerful, and our community needs this. So definitely, if you are, a creative out there, just continue. Entrepreneurial. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Yeah, start your own business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's definitely what we're all trying to do here with all these products. So anyway, with
Exactly.
that being said, ladies, thank you so much for a good 45, 50 minutes.
Yes.
You know,
Thank
it was
you.
Thank
for
you. It
having
was
us.
such a great discussion. Thank
No.
you, Ferdinand, for having us.
I just love you guys having being here and then trying all my little cute products.
Oh yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
do some more tasting.
Yeah,
Are we doing some taste testing
Yeah,
next?
I'm twisting their arm, everybody, for testing the product, especially because obviously someday some of these suppliers will go, hey, I know those guys. They tasted my product before. You know, and
Absolutely,
that's
we're
probably the
very
connection I
excited.
want. Yeah. So
All right.
after this, you get to take more pictures of people trying, the products, because I want everybody to know not only are we housing, showcasing, promoting amazing product, but also amazing talent in the Philippines. And with that being said, I'll end it there. So
Thank you,
Thanks,
Ferdinand.
Ferdinand.
Bye, guys. I'm going to go ahead and put in my little. Dave, you want to say something before we go? Do I hop over? Yeah, just go
Yeah,
ahead.
hop on over.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
I'm gonna scoot over. So, Dave.
boy.
you
Oh,
got it.
no, come back.
No,
Everybody's,
come back.
everybody's
No.
leaving. So you guys
Awesome.
want to introduce your other team members?
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on in.
Yes.
Come on.
Meriden,
Come
our
on,
head
Meriden.
of marketing.
Yeah, so go ahead
Yeah,
and just say hello.
I'm gonna move over so Meredith can.
Yeah, you can
Oh,
stay there so you can introduce everybody.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and
Oh,
our little
here's-
baby.
here's
Our
Yeah.
baby Bakunawa.
There she is.
Evie.
There
Hello,
you go.
everyone. So this is my right-hand woman, I should say.
Person. I'm just kidding.
She's our head of marketing, Meredith Angeles, and her beautiful daughter, Evie.
She actually did amazing with testing the food. I liked it. I hope she liked the drink.
enjoyed all of it.
Yeah.
Right? So yummy.
So that's gonna be your new heroine also.
Oh yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah.
She's got the good Batman
Yeah,
on.
she got the Batman
Yeah, she
on.
does.
We need a Kwento shirt.
I know.
I
I know.
know.
Baby Kwento shirt.
She's
Yeah,
gonna be
I love
amazing.
Yeah.
You want to jump in there and just say hello to everybody? Oh, why not? Oh, we have a shy team player
Yeah.
of Kwento Comics.
But Meriden has just been an enormous, tremendous help on everything marketing, and there's so much even that I'm learning from her, and all of her work that she's done with, really being a community leader with, the Filipino American community here in Los Angeles. She's done just amazing work and has really helped us get in contact with the right people and making sure that the word is getting out to the right people.
Perfect.
I gotta support family. We're cousins. Can you tell?
No, that's good because, like I said, it takes a lot. People that you trust, people who will work passionately, and there's somebody who believes in the project also, and that's how I think most
And
of
who better than
concerts-
family?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's gonna have a little drama, but
There's always gonna be a little drama.
but in the comics,
Yes, in the
yeah, that's your outlet. That's your outlet.
Yes, absolutely.
Dave, you want to say something?
Inspiration,
before we go?
inspiration of drama.
Yeah.
Yes, Dave, please say something. Our amazing first sponsor ever.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
know.
why-
That's just been so fun working with them.
Yeah.
One sip of Babu J's and they're talking.
That's how good the product is. That's how good the product is.
I mean, even for him to be here today, you've probably seen us at least like 3 times this week, and he will just be there, like no questions asked. He's there to support us.
Yeah, he was at your last event, the film. Right?
Yes, we just did.
Oh, boy.
So we had Long Beach Comic Con on Saturday, and then me and my mom, hustled all the way over to MacArthur Park to do the Philippine Festival of Arts and Culture. We were there selling comic books. We were giving away the Bakunawa Breeze, having everyone try Papa J's amazing lambanog, and he's doing amazing work. Also, just uplifting, the women distilleries also in the Philippines.
Well, that was a really fun event. I mean, it was a terrific crowd. No one got out of hand. And everybody was having a good time. That's really the crowd that we need.
You didn't plan with enough lumberjack, bro.
I know. Everybody got better. I mean, no one wanted to go crazy, but everybody had fun.
Cheers to Papa
There we
J's.
go.
All right, guys,
I got the coffee going. I got
with
the
that.
Jayfield
We'll end
coffee.
it with that.
Here we go. Hold on. Where's that jam? Look at that.
Okay, guys. All right. Say bye, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and end the show there, and I appreciate you guys being here, everyone. Bye.